Welcome back to Wake Up America. Our next guest has done some digging on earmarks. In his Oversight report, he's calling them the return of the swamp creatures, saying it's time for a public on-the-record vote in the House. Joining us now is the founder and CEO of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Andrzejewski, and still with us is Chris Lenzo, as well as Carrie Carbonaro and Charles Love. So Adam, firstly, I want to get to you first. Most people at home, they might not know what an earmark is. What is an earmark and why are they so controversial?
Well, earmarks is simply a member pet project. Members of Congress request these local projects, and when they get green lit on them, it's basically legal bribery. It's to put their votes on big runaway spending bills. So you have, in the last Congress, $16 billion of these oinkers doled out, 7,509 of these special pet projects. And here are some examples. It was Congress literally going nuts on the $1 million macadamia nut initiative in Hawaii. It was $2 million going to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum, where the member was ensconced with a wax figurine 6 months before he submitted the earmark. It was $3 million for the LGBTQ Museum in New York City, where they're going to bus 30,000 sixth graders every single year. It was $5 million for the Hip Hop Museum. It was $3.6 million for the second phase of the extension of the Michelle Obama Trail down in Atlanta, Georgia, where the first phase was paid for by local taxpayers. The second phase is paid for by you and I.
Yeah, it seems like it's a wide range of pretty much anything out there you can put an earmark on.
We're all like, wow.
Frustrating.
But Carrie, former Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn, Republican and President Barack Obama worked together to ban earmarks in 2010. Tell us about that bipartisanship and how things have changed since this.
So I don't think they've changed at all. And actually, I don't understand truly how this is happening, because so how is it, Adam, I'm going to actually ask you this question. How is it that these things are getting through the budget process when we just went through what we went through to raise the debt ceiling, and we don't have the money for what we need to do, like Social Security, which is going to be bankrupt by 2033? How is this happening? That's my question to you.
Amen. So here's how it happened. In the last Congress, just 6 months ago, Kevin McCarthy, although he doesn't request earmarks himself, he let the Republican caucus in the House take a secret vote. And 158 big spending Republicans voted in secret to bring back this currency of corruption in Congress, the process of an earmark. We're calling on Kevin McCarthy today. Let's declare our independence from earmarks. You can go to our Twitter page at OpenTheBooks.com, retweet that message to McCarthy. And here's why it's so important. We need an on-the-record vote, a publicly transparent vote in the well of the House on a resolution on earmarks to see who's in or who's out.
Adam, Charles here. I'm new to New York. I moved from Chicago, so I kind of know the answer. I know your work. So who are some of the worst offenders of this? Chicago. I mean, so where do you see this is the most prominent and the biggest offenders of this issue?
Yeah, well, in the last omnibus spending bill, incredibly, 7 out of the top 10 earmarkers were actually Republicans. And I want to give you some examples of this. You had Roy Blunt. He was the senator who was going to retire then from Missouri. In one of his last legislative actions, he did 2 earmarks for $91 million into 2 universities in Missouri who had named buildings after him. And the $91 million went into projects and renovations in the buildings named after him.
That's incredible. Krisha.
But earmarks, I'm totally opposed to them in general, but I think that there has to be some sort of concept where you're taking home the bacon, right? You're trying to negotiate for your constituency. What's your take on that? They can't be all bad.
Yeah, look, all these projects need to move through regular order in Congress. There needs to have in regular order, you have committee votes. It's a transparent process. You have a staffer that's assigned every line of the budget. You have people to hold accountable. With these earmarks, it is an absolute free-for-all. You have institutions like Columbia University with a $13 billion endowment because they have political clout. They got a $3 million earmark. You got the Field Museum in Chicago, where the CEO makes nearly $1 million a year. They got 2 earmarks, one from 2 different members of Congress, for a total of $3.5 million. So you have, this is an issue of the people versus the powerful, and the people need to get engaged. Take that tweet right up against McCarthy. He needs to call for an on-the-record vote on earmarks in the House.
Adam, thank you so much for getting in, digging into this and raising this issue, and hopefully some change will happen. We appreciate it. Krisha, Charles, Carrie, appreciate everybody's thoughts on this.